So after you've cleaned the surface, your laminate or whatever surface you're doing, you want to take your white chalk paint or primer if you prefer. What I'm using is just white chalk paint. Base coat with some sort of white. I would make sure there's no yellow in whatever white you choose. And I'm just putting on sort of a thin coat. And obviously we're going to let that dry and do a second coat. I would do this for the whole counter surface area. Ow! Most of your countertops, you'll be able to roll the paint on or the primer with this, and then of course there's going to be the edge against either the backsplash and then the edges of the countertops where it hangs over any of the ends. You can use the roller for those if they're free. Up against any edges or maybe against appliances and things. This is what works best, this sponge brush with the little wedge thing. It doesn't have to be. I've also used a brush. It's just easier to avoid the brush marks up against. So you dip the paint in here and run it alongside up against the edges, corners, crevices, that kind of thing that you can't get with the roller. And then you'll do the same thing with the top coat. 2 coats of white chalk paint on here. You'll want to work on an area about this size. It'll get overwhelming if you have a bigger area than this, because it just gets kind of overwhelming. So what I have here is a dark gray, sort of a charcoal gray, the darkest that I want the veins to be. And I have a medium gray I've mixed, and a white mixed with glaze. I am using 1 part clear glaze to 1 part white chalk paint. We want the paint to be a little thin, but we don't want too much glaze because then it'll take it too long to dry to work with. Marble tends toward a cool gray that's almost a tiny bit bluish, but a gray, which is what you want to go for. Any white chalk paint will do at all. This is like a stark kind of white. The first thing I'm going to do is start with a lighter gray that I have more of the white in. Size brush. And again, this is not an exact, that you can use whatever size brushes you want. This is sort of a medium one because we want to make a path. Sort of creating, I want my veins in general, from the picture that I was using earlier, just sort of a bit of a, and here's the part where it feels like it's scary, but if you will think of it as, this is just a layer. So even if you hate this and you want to cover this whole thing up, you can roll your paint over again, the white background, and start again. It's just that easy. Here's what I'm going to do next. I've got sort of a path, and then like I said, I'm going to continue on over here to give you show you more workspace. So I'm going to make it sort of going this way. Then I'm going to dip my sea sponge glaze mixture, and I'm going to just almost cover the whole thing. It will help if, well, I need more. You will keep in your mind that where the veins are going to sort of go, and then everywhere else will be this sort of white section. Concentrate right here. This is going to be a white. And there. Okay. So the veins won't be that wide. I don't do this brush. You want to hold this whisking brush, smoothing brush, like a pencil and very loosely in your hand, and side to lengthwise, not like the opposite of a broom. When it starts to be drying a little bit, a little tacky, it's a little easier to work with. Here's what we're going to do. Then we take the darkest gray you have, and you take a feather, would be the best. Here is a torn piece of cardboard in lieu of a feather. A feather apparently works even better, but this works so wonderfully that, and I don't have a feather, that I always use this, and it's great. Just a piece of cardboard torn sort of to a point. And then I've got my dark gray here that and I'm going to start right here, and if you'll just sort of turn it, flip it, sort of drag it, just for a sort of vein look. The veins don't run in a complete straight line. Little offshoot vein from it. And there's one running a little parallel. Let's say that one's gonna go off like that. We'll pull this one off over here. Now I'm going to take a small brush, a really tiny little artist brush, and get the white glaze and just sort of define the vein a little bit. Again, not as if you're actually outlining it, because that would look too painted. But we're going to use the whisk brush and draw the white in here, and that way we don't completely destroy the vein look. We leave it, and yet we are covering it a little bit, and that's okay, because there could be a little bit of white right there. Okay, I'm just going to do right here because we don't want it to get too dry. I'll leave that for now. And just barely sort of nick that. Keeping in mind that if you mess this up, you see how easy it is to go back in and add veins again. I'm just going to pull this in here. So now we can use more of the width of the whisk brush. Please don't feel as if you can mess this up, even though it looks sort of dicey. The other things in painting, the secret is just to keep blending and blending. Helps with that. Now the struggle for most of us is to decide when it really looks amazing and we should stop, when we're not quite pleased with it and we know that we can make it look better, what the difference is in the two. Because you could keep doing this, if you're a perfectionist especially, forever and never finish it, and that's not the point. We want the countertops to look amazing and beautiful and new and like marble, and they will.